Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G. It's time to review the latest post-apocalyptic horror film. This one is starring Nicolas Cage. It is called Arcadian. Yes.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G. Now, Arcadian is a 2024 American action horror film. It was directed by Ben Brewer, and the screenplay is by Michael Nealion. The film stars Nicolas Cage, Jaden Martell, actually Sadie Silverwall. In this film, a father and his twin teenage sons fight to survive in a remote farmhouse at the end of the world. Now, horror fans, I believe one of the more interesting subgenres of horror is these post-apocalyptic horror films. I think they're quite very interesting. I mean, it doesn't matter if the event is taking place during the event or if we're seeing the aftermath of the event is always interesting as it creates an interesting story for all these types of films. It doesn't matter where we're actually seeing the end of the world or it's taking place after the event takes place, like whether it's a disease or some aliens take over or a zombie apocalypse, something that caused humanity to fall. And all these stories are very interesting. I guess it's seeing how humanity is trying to survive and all the things that people must do, especially doing some immoral things, can make a decent horror film. Whether it's 2008, 28 Days Later, 2003's Knock in the Cabin, you can see what people can do to each other in order to survive, as we see in both those films. Whether it's 28 Days Later, The Knock in the Cabin, The Walking Dead, Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder film, we all get to see what human beings are capable of doing to each other or trying to do their best to survive. And that brings us to film director Ben Brewer's entry into this subgenre. This one is called Arcadian. Now, in this film, we're introduced to Paul and his twin sons, Joseph and Thomas, who live in a remote farmhouse where they live very peaceful during the day, but at night they live in fear. Kind of almost similar to the Will Smith film, that's because in this film, during the night, strange creatures come out at night, hunting and killing anything in their path, which we believe led to collapse in society. We get a little brief prologue in the beginning of the film where Nicolas Cage is running out. We see a whole bunch of people screaming and hollering. We don't get to see anything, but we're led to believe that whatever these creatures are and what happened, this is what caused society to collapse and where we're at right now at this stage of the film. Now, this film is quite interesting as we're never told who these creatures are, where they came from, but whatever they do, or whatever they are, they're very dangerous. When I first started watching the film, I started to get It's a Quiet Place vibes as the alien creatures in that film attacked by sound, while these creatures attack during night. There are different types of similarities in that particular film because in the Quiet Place you can't make any noise. Otherwise, you could be attacked by the creatures. In this one, similar to Will Smith, I Am Legend, they attack at night, but you have to make sure everything is boarded up correctly. Otherwise, the creatures are going to get in and never do what they were supposed to do. That's how I like how Paul and his sons do what they do in order to survive this nightmare, how they protect the farm so that the creatures cannot get in. That's because, of course, we all know, as all these particular films, something bad is going to happen. This leads to some very intense moments, I say around during the second act of the film, because it always happens. You see what you have to do in order to protect yourself. Something's going to cause, someone's going to do something stupid or something bad's going to happen, whether it's humanity's mistake or raiders or anything like that. You know, this is going to cause some intense moments in the film, and that's what I like about some of these films. Another thing I like about this film is the back and forth between Thomas and Joseph, because while they may be twins, I think they're fraternal twins. They're not identical twins, they're more fraternal twins because they're played by two different actors that don't look alike, so they have to be fraternal, not identical, but they do have different personalities. They're very, very different. No, the film is paced quite nicely. I like some of how the film is made. It looks very well produced. I like what Ben does in creating some tensions and spins that you need in a film like this. There's some very intense scenes that happen that take place, I would say, during the second act of the film. I thought they did a pretty good job as far as how the film is made. Now, for you Nicolas Cage fans, you will be disappointed because he is not the focal point in this film, and he does not do any of his typical Cage moments in this film. This is not Willy Wonka Man, Willy Willy Wonka, Willy Wonderworld, nor this isn't Mandy. This is more of a reserved film for Nicolas Cage. He does play a little important part when we get to the third act of the film, but he is not the focal point in this film. No, what he does in the film is pretty okay because he plays Paul as a cautious and firm man who look out for his sons and he will do anything to protect them. I also thought Jaden Martell and Maxwell Jenkins are fine as Thomas, Joseph, and Thomas because while Thomas is more as a risk taker, while Joseph seems very intelligent, we should learn more about how to survive in this particular world. As a matter of fact, he seems very intelligent because he does come up with ways for them to travel very quickly. And it's his quick thinking that allows certain things to happen that take place, especially in the third act of the film. Now, unfortunately, we do get some cliche moments in the film regarding the Rose Farm and Thomas's crush on Charlotte. She's the third, might say the third main character in this particular film, and some cliche things happen right around the third act of the film that we know that's going to eventually lead to some bad stuff. It's okay, but it's not nothing we haven't seen before in films like this. Really, nothing new with this aspect of the film. Now, of course, we got to talk about the creatures because while we do get some intense moments with them, there are some frightening scenes that they do have in this particular film. But unfortunately, overall, they don't seem to be frightening or terrifying creatures that would cause humanity to collapse on upon itself. Now, I'm not saying that they're not dangerous, but for me, if you're going to create creatures, you want to make them at least vicious or frightening enough or make them seem very dangerous that would at least lead to the downfall of society. But these creatures, I'm like saying, these are the things that cause humanity to collapse on upon itself. Ooh, ooh, man, I don't see what they were doing. I don't see what the world they were thinking. No, the problem is we barely get a chance to see him up close because when we do, it's shaky can. The camera just shakes and shakes and shakes. You really can't get a good look at him because it's like this. If you're going to make a film like this, you want to at least make the creatures look terrifying and terrifying enough that you want to put the audience in danger, make the audience feel some type of danger for the characters that no one could survive. But we don't see that here. And it's maybe obvious that Ben and his team obviously did not have the budget to make the creatures menacing enough so that the audience would start to worry about the safety of Paul and his sons. And that's one of the problems that I have with this particular film. But despite that fact, it's for me, it's an above average post-apocalyptic horror film because we do have some decent acting and some nice intense moments, especially when we get around the third act of the film. Yeah, but overall, it's okay. It's not bad. I've seen worse post-apocalyptic film than this, but I've seen much better. So it's like it's okay. And of course, like I said, we really don't get that much of Nicolas Cage. So I'm going to give Arcadian only 2 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Like I said, it's an above average film. It's okay. It's just not good. It's like you should have made the creatures more threatening enough, even despite even with the low, obviously whatever budget that they had, they certainly did not do a great job in the creature design to make them more dangerous. So there you have it, guys. That is my video and review of Arcadian. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Arcadium? Have you take a look at it? Tell me what you thought in the comments section below and so you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way we notify anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as a horror miser, Monty G. And always remember that horror rules. And I'll see you in my next video. Y'all guys stay safe out there.